going on, chat, man? I'm back with my boy, Young
You
Fog.
already know. Come on.
Hey, biggest LeBron fan, man. And, today we are reacting to the dark side of Michael Jordan. And I'm not going to lie to y'all. I don't know what to expect, man. This was recommended to me. And, hey, with that being said, let's just get straight to the video. What do you think? What do you think we're about to see, bro? Because I don't even know, and I'm a Jordan fan now.
I'm on the same timing as you. I'm not sure what to expect from this video, but that's what intrigued me so much. So, hey, I'm excited to get into it.
All right, with that being said, let's get straight into the video. And if you guys are new to my channel, you like Michael Jordan content, and you just like my Michael Jordan journey or classic/old NBA content, man, hit that subscribe button, man, and join the crew. But hey, with that being said, let's get straight into the video. Yes, sir.
NBA championships, 5 MVP awards, and his billion-dollar partnership with Nike that changed the game forever. It's no secret that Michael Jordan is one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
Michael Jordan was the most complete basketball player that's ever lived.
Mike changed the game in so many other ways, not only on the court, but off the court.
I was terrified being out there with Michael Jordan the first time.
Beyond the court, MJ's Jordan brand has been consistently bringing in billions in revenue, allowing him to do things like buy an entire NBA team and supporting vulnerable communities. The man, known for his clutch performances and unbreakable competitive spirit, has cemented himself as an untouchable icon.
It's kind of crazy that we only know Michael Jordan on the court, though. We know this guy's great on the court, but I don't even know anything about him for real, man. So.
I mean, that's what's so crazy about a different era of basketball like this. Just about any NBA player in modern basketball, you see all their lives all the day because of social media. But back then, what does Michael Jordan do? Honestly,
Facts.
I have no idea what Michael Jordan
Facts.
Sports history.
One day you might look up and see me playing the game at 50. Oh, don't laugh. No. Never say never.
But while the world remembers him as an ultimate competitor, basketball icon, living legend, and pretty much any other adjacent descriptions, it's arguable that MJ has more enemies than admirers. Cause despite being considered the GOAT, many close to Michael Jordan believe he is undeserving of all the praise and accolades he has received over the years.
You guys seen him play. He's a horrible player. He was horrible to play with.
From his massive...
that's Scottie Pippen, the guy he won 6 rings with his right-hand man. Bro.
Ego to his altercations with his teammates, some people straight up wish he would disappear.
Literally the human that I hate the most on earth is Michael Jordan. Number one on my list.
It's your boy Lil Waysta, hitting you up from Lil Hoopsta, and this is the dark side of Michael Jordan. After getting selected 3rd overall pick by the Bulls in the 1984 draft, a young Jordan came into the league with a strong competitive energy. During his debut in a game against the Washington Bullets at the time, MJ landed an impressive 16 points and 6 rebounds, which wasn't bad for a rookie. As the season rolled in, MJ would go on to average 28.2 points and 6.5 rebounds per game, leading the Bulls to the playoffs for the first time in 4 years and earning the Rookie of the Year award. Initially, MJ portrayed the image of a humble star who was just looking to have fun playing the sport that he loved.
On behalf of Miller Brewing Association, I'm very happy to receive the award, although, Keem and other rookies in the league that just the same won the award as I have. I think my year was very, very experimental for me. I'm very happy that I achieved so much, and hopefully next year be more promising. If not, then maybe I retire after 2 years.
But it wouldn't be long before his egotistical nature started to emerge, eventually forcing MJ to go against his own initial promises to the team when he first got signed, leading clips like this to spoil like old fruit.
I'm just going to set expectations for myself and go out and try to contribute and maybe not try to carry the team and just try to fit in and become as one and not just a Michael Jordan show or a Michael Jordan trying to carry the team.
As we'd soon see, Jordan did the complete opposite of what he'd promised and quickly became their clear-cut leader and primary ball handler, despite claiming he wanted nothing of the sort. It made sense, since he was easily the best player on the team, but hiding his true intentions and acting like he just wanted to fit in rubbed people the wrong way, even if that same ego was what made him unstoppable.
Ego's everything. Ego's a part of determination. If you don't have ego, you can't
What you think about egos? Do y'all think egos are crazy?
You can't have a sense of determination to achieve. You cannot find a successful person in life who don't have an ego.
And in a short while, Michael basically took over the entire Chicago Bulls, and in some sense, the NBA at large, leaving skeptics in complete confusion. He said a lot of things he wouldn't do, but did. On many occasions, MJ would completely ignore his teammates on the court just to secure points for himself. And sometimes, it was because he didn't think his teammates had the skills it took to play at his level. It would even get to the point of closing his eyes to make a shot, just to show how much better he was. And when opposing teams would taunt him, they'd learn why you don't poke his ego.
Can you believe Michael Jordan, the guy everyone's talking about, who's supposed to be able to walk on water? You're out here killing him, Reg. This is in the first half. He's like, you should be talking to him. He's like, you know, you're right, Michael. Who do you think you are? The great Michael Jordan? That's right. There's a new kid on town, right? Kind of looks at me and starts shaking his head. So at half, I have 10, and he has 4 points, right? I'm doing all this talking. He's like, okay. Into the game in the second half, he ended up with 44, and I ended up with 12.
Hey!
Now, it's hard to ignore the fact that his egotistical nature was a huge part of what made him such a ruthless competitor. And honestly, that's exactly what the Bulls needed. Back then, the Bulls had never won an NBA championship. So if Jordan's attitude was going to deliver that title, they were willing to take the bet. Besides, MJ had already—
I feel like that's the best attitude to have, though. As a winner, you need to know, bro, I'm the greatest. I can do all of that. I feel like
you're definitely gonna have a goal in mind, man. If not, you're just bouncing off the walls.
Yeah, true.
But he knew.
He assured the team and fans he wouldn't let his ego get out of control.
How big is your ego?
It's big, but it's controllable. I won't let anyone else feel it or sense it or feel threatened by it, because I am very sensitive to other people's thinking of myself and of my personality and of the way that I carry myself. So my ego would never take it to a point where it imposes on other people around me.
But unfortunately, things started to get sour almost immediately, and MJ would soon make it his life's mission to taunt every single player on the team in the name of helping them. While many players did actually improve on their skills, like Scottie Pippen, who ended up improving 10 points per game to 17, others found his methods unbearable and mentally draining, to the point where it would spiral into full-blown altercations with teammates and even the coach. See, during the first 7 years of drafting MJ, the Bulls never made it to the finals. However, throughout that period, Jordan was logging the most minutes on the court, carrying the weight of the entire team on his shoulders. In his mind, their success or failure was all on him, which honestly makes sense since his goal was to reach the final. But here's where things started to get dark. MJ was so obsessed with winning that he completely disregarded how his teammates felt. He would push them relentlessly during practice, berate them on the court, and sometimes he was just straight up cruel. And nobody caught more heat on the team than Rodney McRae. Despite being a stellar defensive player and earning all defensive team honors in 1987 and 88, none of that seemed to impress Michael Jordan, as he would consistently tear the small forward down. One member of the Bulls recalled a moment during practice where Michael completely crashed out on Rodney for no real reason. Apparently, Jordan would get in Rodney's face whenever they were on opposing teams, screaming, "You're a loser. You've always been a loser." With all this taunting, Rodney's His confidence took a sharp plummet, and his skills, which Jordan was trying to improve through his quote-unquote tough love, ended up getting worse. As the Bulls insider would state, Rodney can hardly put up a jumper now. After barely surviving one season with MJ on the team, Rodney surprisingly retired from the league with no injuries. A stark contrast to the many stars
he made him retire?
End up retiring due to life-threatening injuries or conditions. Although Rodney had a good 10-year career, the NBA community widely speculates that MJ was probably the sole reason for Rodney's early retirement, which might not be far from the truth, considering Jordan's long list of incidents where he trash-talked players into failure.
So he walks by me, he walks by Kevin, we get to Randy with me, he said, lace him up, it's gonna be a long night. I'm like, did he just come in our locker room? I didn't know what to say. I was shocked. He had 60 that night.
What makes MJ even more intimidating is the fact that he can trash talk, play around, and still dominate the court.
Hey, Michael, who do you think you are? The great Michael Jordan? That's right. There's a new kid on town, right? Kind of looks at me and starts shaking his head. So at half, I have 10, and he has 4 points, right? I'm doing all this talking. He's like, okay. Into the game in the second half, he ended up with 44, and I ended up with 12.
Everyone on the court, especially the opposing team, would try their absolute best not to get under his skin. as that could mean an easy wipeout from the game.
But the one thing I did with Mike is I never got him pissed off. You know, he make a shot, you say, "Good shot, Mike." You know, you don't talk trash to him so he can go off for 60. You know, you can try to kill him with kindness.
Now, being sworn enemies with your opponents and pushing your teammates on the court is all part of the game of basketball. But when this aggression is left unchecked, things start to get ugly. Like on one occasion, when MJ took things a little too far during practice with former Bulls player turned Warriors coach Steve Kerr. Kerr had joined the team as a late blooming role player back in 1993 after being cut from the league the previous year. Making it back to the NBA was a miracle paved with his hard work, but not everyone felt like he deserved a spot on the team. And with Michael Jordan, who was extra critical of everyone stepping on the court with him, things were bound to get tense between them.
So one day at practice, Phil put Steve Kerr guarding me.
We were on opposite sides in a scrimmage, and he's talking all kinds of trash, and I'm pissed because, you know, we're getting our ass kicked.
At this point, MJ already knew Steve was getting a bit agitated, but he kept pushing even though Steve was the smallest guy on the team.
Phil sensed my aggression. But
so he was bullying the smallest guy on the team?
Why would Michael Jordan do something like that?
Maybe to help him, like, you know, it's toughening him up, though.
He was trying to tone me down, and he starts calling these tick-attack fouls. Now I'm getting mad because for you to be protecting this guy, it's not going to help us when we play New York. It's not going to help us when we play these teams that are very physical. Next time he did it, I just hauled off him. And I said, when I fouled Steve Kerr, I said, "Now that's a foul." He hauls off and hits me in the chest, and I just haul off and hit him right in the eye. And Phil just throws me out of practice.
MJ ended up leaving Kerr with a black eye that day, making him question if being on the team with MJ was worth the mental and physical toll.
I have a lot of patience as a human being, but
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm not taking that. I'm not taking that, bro. Nah, bro. I don't even care if you're LeBron, bro.
Even if LeBron did that to me,
I'm not taking that. Yeah, exactly, bro.
Tend to snap at some point because I'm extremely competitive too. Just not really good enough to back it up usually, but I'm going. I'm gonna fight.
However, after getting home and reflecting on his actions, MJ would surprisingly apologize to Steve Kerr. From that point on, Jordan came to an internal conclusion, promising to be a better teammate going forward. It made me look at myself and say, you know what? You're really being an idiot about this whole process. I knew I had to be more respectful to my teammates. After that incident, Jordan and Steve would become close friends, and they would go on to win a three-peat in the years 1996, 97, and the 98 NBA Finals, putting an end to their beef. But while MJ and Steve were able to bury the hatchet and move on like grown men, one guy who Jordan had held a grudge against for over 3 decades, leaving their relationship beyond repair, is Isiah Thomas. Michael Jordan and Isiah Thomas had been beefing for over 30 years, making it one of the longest beefs in
30 years?
And it all started during the 1985 All-Star Weekend when Jordan ran into Thomas in an elevator. Shortly after that, there were rumors that Isiah Thomas called MJ cocky and arrogant. I mean, Thomas might not be completely wrong about that.
So Isiah Thomas was probably like a hater.
But it's clear that the Pistons' point guard disliked the way Michael Jordan carried himself. And when MJ wore his full Nike gear to the dunk contest, Isiah probably felt that MJ was just there to promote Nike and didn't actually care about the All-Star Weekend festivities. Whether or not MJ wore that just to show...
What? So he thought he was just there to promote Nike, bro. Nike wasn't big back then, bro. So that's crazy because all I know is Nike, Nike, Nike. Like, I got Nike on right now. Like, I'm telling you, bro. You got Nike on too.
I got Nike on right now too.
Like, it's crazy though, bruh. Nah, he wasn't promoted.
Off didn't really matter because it definitely got under Isiah's skin. In the All-Star game that following day, Isiah would have it out for MJ, setting him on a freeze out. Basically, the plan was to shut down the cocky rookie and send Air Jordan crashing to the ground. This meant Isiah refused to pass the ball to the young MJ, leaving him with just 9 shot attempts in 22 minutes of play. Just 2 days after the All-Star Game fiasco, Michael and Isiah met again in a regular season matchup between the Pistons and the Chicago Bulls. Michael saw this as the perfect opportunity to get his revenge on Thomas, and he delivered, landing an astonishing career high of 49 points.
Behind the foul line, short with a jumper. Rebound, Jordan came right to him. In the lane, double pump, jump when it goes.
Well, now he came to get that get back.
Go right back.
Get
Give
back.
him credit. 48 on the night for Michael Jordan.
and he deserves a lot of the credit.
134-126, Chicago in overtime. 32 to play at Chicago Stadium. Now he's got 49 as he hits the next free throw.
Just not about the points, but just because he's a threat, George, he creates so much for his other teammates.
Plays very, very...
Keep in mind, he was only a rookie, further solidifying their beef. The two would never be on good terms after this, getting into intense battles whenever they faced each other on the court.
Trying to penetrate, finds Jordan. Michael to the hoop. What a throw!
Oh,
and sometimes Isiah's bad boy Pistons would get the better of him, committing to winning by any means possible, meaning they had no trouble roughing up MJ so they can get an advantage.
He was gonna get hit, and he knew it.
Jordan left wing. Jordan to the foul line, room in the lane. Isiah grabs him and fouls him.
In fact, it got to the point where it was reported that Jordan allegedly got into the habit of tattling on NBA teams, urging the commissioner at the time, David Stern, to change the rules of the NBA, which didn't sit right with Isiah Thomas once again.
Chicago, I mean, the Bulls.
Isiah Thomas is just a hater, bro. This guy just hates.
Jordan, every time you hit him, he was crying. Oh, going to David Stern's office, going to the commissioner's office, having a meeting about getting hit, getting fouled. You got to change the rules. I'm like, wait a minute. Everybody get beat up, but wait a minute. Now we got to change the rules because he getting hit.
He said changing the rules, this and that, change the rules.
Bro, he's jealous.
Didn't we react to a video?
Him fouling.
No. About our fans sent us a video to react to about LeBron, bro. About how LeBron changes the rules. But clearly right here, it was stated that Michael Jordan was asking for rule changes.
Bro, this is that dark side of Jordan. You're talking about LeBron. Come on.
But
when the two are far
you're
into
jumping over my point, though. You're jumping over my point. Why in the world are they getting mad at LeBron, but Jordan was doing the same thing?
Okay.
About the rule changes.
Okay.
Chat, I need clarification. And I need
retirement, things would only get more tense between them as Jordan would release the infamous documentary series The Last Dance, where he highlighted an event that happened in the 1991 Eastern Conference Final, where Isiah walked off without shaking hands after losing the game, and why he reacted the way he did.
I didn't lead the walk-off. There were several people in front of me.
Did you walk along the bench and say, let's go? Did you put the notion in their minds?
I don't know what happened, but I know I didn't lead the walk-off.
According to Isiah, he didn't feel like he did anything wrong. After all, he wasn't the first person to pull that type of move after losing a game.
After championship games, I don't remember teams going shaking hands. Now this is just me. Maybe I missed something somewhere. Now, am I a sore loser? Yes, I am a sore loser.
Yes, he is, bro. Yes, he is.
And when Jordan was shown Isiah's explanation of the situation, he completely dunked on him.
Whatever he says now, you know it wasn't his true actions then. You know, it's time enough to think about it. Or the reaction of the public that's kind of changed his perspective of it. You can show me anything you want. There's no way you can convince me he wasn't an asshole.
At this point, it's pretty clear that Michael has no intentions of patching things up with Isiah. Isiah, on the other hand, proposed specific conditions under which he'd be willing to forgive Michael Jordan.
Anywhere, anytime, publicly. Don't call me behind the scenes apologizing or asking your friends to apologize, right? You got on national television and you called me an asshole. And then you said you hate it. You said that on national television. Now, if you didn't mean it, get on national television and apologize for it. Now, if you meant it, let it ride as it is.
Well, if you know Michael, you'd know he'd rather go for a swim than apologize to Isiah, which just goes to show how much he hates his enemies. However, no one expected that his greatest op wouldn't be an old rival, but someone he spent every day practicing with.
You know, you've done more and more talking about Michael Jordan. Has he reached out to you at all? Have you talked to him?
I'm not talking about Michael Jordan. Nah.
Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen were considered the greatest duo in NBA history. Their synergy on the court was phenomenal. Together, they won 6 NBA championships and built a dynasty that dominated the 90s. And despite MJ earning over 10 times Scottie's salary back in the day, it never caused an issue. Even years after retirement, Scottie and MJ could constantly be found praising each other.
I got too many people I can thank. In all the videos, you never just saw me, you saw Scottie Pippen. Every championship I won.
Michael Jordan is the greatest player to ever put on shoes and play in our game. No doubt about it.
But when their relationship fell apart, it came as a huge surprise to everyone. The reason for their fallout? That same documentary. In 2020, Jordan released the long-awaited The Last Dance documentary. On the surface, it was a nostalgia-driven series about the final season of the 90s Bulls dynasty. To casual fans, the series was awesome. It reminded everyone of everything we love
I
about
gotta really watch The Last Dance, bro. You know, this was recommended. This was recommended. I gotta watch it now, bro. For real. This is making me want to watch it.
Basketball. However, when Scottie saw the series, he was absolutely fuming. Not just because he and the other Bulls players didn't get any royalties, but because the entire series felt like a personal documentary for Michael Jordan, instead of a story about the 90s Bulls. For the entire season, we allowed cameras into our locker rooms, our practices, our hotels, our huddles, our lives, and Michael received $10 million for his role in the doc, while my teammates and I didn't earn a dime. Another reminder.
Okay, that's kind of crazy. That's crazy.
I mean, I understand, like, for long, like, that's what they were investing in, but I don't know why they wouldn't give some type of cut to. It's the whole team.
Yeah.
That's kind of fake. That's kind of weird. I don't.
Of the pecking order from the old day. To Scottie, the series watered down everyone else's efforts and painted him and his teammates as loose cannons. I was upset with him. It was because of The Last Dance. They glorified Michael Jordan while not nearly giving enough praise to me and my proud teammates. Michael deserved a large portion of the blame. The producers had granted him editorial control of the final product. The doc couldn't even be released otherwise. He was the leading man and the director. On one occasion in the doc, MJ makes it seem like
Jordan just wanted to be about him.
Of course he did. This is what it's seeming like. Why are all these things coming up now about Michael Jordan, man?
Scottie was being selfish for having his ankle surgery late, which put him out for 3 months. From MJ's perspective, Scottie was just mad he wasn't making as much money as him, so he was trying to use the surgery as a way to renegotiate his contract. Keep in mind, MJ was making $33 million per year, while Scottie was still making $2.7 million despite being Jordan's right hand.
Scottie was wrong in that scenario. He could have got his surgery done as soon as the season was over and be ready for the season. What Scottie was trying to do was trying to force management to change his contract, and Jerry wasn't going to do that.
There was an incident that was covered in episode 7 of the docuseries that Scottie was furious ended up making the final cut. In Game 3 of the 1994 Eastern Conference semifinals, during the final seconds of the game, the Bulls coach Phil Jackson drew up the last shot for Tony Kukoc and had Pippen inbounding the ball instead. Pippen was so upset that he stayed on the bench, refusing to get on the floor. It was a heated moment, which any true hooper would understand. Scottie hoped to keep the incident private, but MJ had other plans, which ended up making his teammates look worse than they actually were, while painting himself as the golden boy. However, when Pippi pressed him about the film, MJ surprisingly apologized. I asked why he allowed the 1.8 seconds game to make the final cut. He didn't say much other than to apologize and acknowledge that if it were him, he too would be upset. I didn't press any further. I knew it would do no good. But the damage had already been done. And from that point on, Scottie made it his life's mission to let the world know just how terrible Michael actually was, often claiming that MJ wouldn't have been a great player without his team.
I seen Michael Jordan play before I came to play with him.
Michael Jordan
Scottie
wouldn't have been a good player without his team.
Scottie Pippen is saying that.
Smacking your Jordan fans in the face right now.
Stop, bro. Chill out, bro.
It really is.
Bulls.
Oh
You guys seen him play. He's a horrible player. He was horrible to play with. He was all one-on-one. He's shooting bad shot, and all of a sudden, we become a team and we start winning. Everybody forgot who he was.
Since then, he would go on to expose how he and MJ were never really friends, despite playing side by side and bagging 6 championships together.
Great teammate, but we just never were great friends.
To make matters even worse, MJ's son would eventually start dating Scottie Pippen's ex-wife, further straining their already fractured relationship.
Why would you date?
Whoa! Did you not hear that? You were talking.
No, you told me you screamed shut up when I was making my comment.
Great friend.
To make matters even worse, MJ's son would eventually start dating Scottie Pippen's ex-wife, further straining their already fractured relationship.
Why would you date Michael Jordan's son, knowing that it's been pretty clear that Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan didn't have this relationship people thought, and certainly don't have it now?
To Scottie, it might have given the impression that MJ sent his son to spite him even more. Cause it didn't make much sense for Marcus Jordan to be attracted to a woman who's 16 years older than he is.
I didn't plan it like that. It wasn't like it was planned like that. I think we were just together a lot with our friends, and it just so happened. It wasn't like something I planned. You gotta remember, I feel like for me being, married to someone that was an athlete or whatever, it's really hard. You get scrutinized a lot. People don't think you should have a life once you get divorced. They think once you're divorced, you're done. And I feel like I've overcome so many different obstacles because I feel like I should have love. I should be able to date who I want. I should be able to live happy and go, just go wherever I want to go. And
I'm gonna keep it a buck. That's crazy, bro.
Not be judged every time I'm seen with someone.
And you should.
And when Scottie was asked about how he felt about their little escapade, his response made it clear where he stood with MJ and his family.
We know Larsa and Marcus are an item. Has Marcus reached out to you? Everyone wants to know, how do you feel about the relationship? Were you annoyed when Larsa brought up your, sex life on Real Housewives of Miami?
To this very day, the once electric hoop duo is no longer on
these weird questions, bro. You get the opportunity to meet Scottie Pippen, and that's what you saying?
Bro, I don't know, bro.
speaking term. Even though Marcus and Larsa have long since parted ways, Michael Jordan's need to always win and come out on top might have destroyed his relationship with his right-hand man. And it was this same behavior that led to the habit that nearly cost him everything. For Michael, growing up in North Carolina kept him away from certain frivolous activities since it was super remote. But with the fame and money he earned back in the 90s, MJ was a free man. He could finally explore his hobbies that were financially out of reach to him. And one of such hobbies was gambling. Now, gambling in itself wasn't what made MJ almost lose everything. It was the events surrounding it. After winning his first NBA championship in 1991, MJ went out to celebrate in his own way.
Back then, after he won the NBA championship, he said he couldn't go to the White House because he had family obligations and everything else like that. Well, in fact, he went gambling with this group of guys that week.
Unfortunately for MJ, he was in the betting game with the wrong guy, James Slim Bowler. Bowler was a golf hustler back in the early 90s, and unknowingly to MJ, Slim had already made it into the Fed's radar for all the wrong reasons.
Michael Jordan ended up losing a bunch of money that weekend to Slim, and he wrote him a $57,000 check for his losses. Unbeknownst to Michael, Slim was being investigated for drug dealing and all this other type of stuff. So his phones were tapped and everything else like that. So, and I guess he tried to like cash the check without paying taxes on it while his phones were tapped. So before he got a chance to cash the check, the Fed swooped in, arrested him, seized the check, and then now he has to go to court.
From this point on, things would take a crazy turn.
Michael Jordan now has to take the stand and now has to admit that he was gambling and what the check was for. And now the NBA is starting to investigate him. And, you know, one of the guys in the group ends up dead with like a $100,000 check from Michael, you know, in his bag. And it's just like, basically Michael Jordan said this was the worst decision of his life.
And to make matters worse, while MJ was trying to deal with the case and public scrutiny on his gambling habit, his father got unalived in his car. Although the motive of the murder was robbery, some speculate that it might be linked to MJ's gambling and his refusal to pay up.
So you're saying there's a strong possibility that his father was murdered because he wasn't paying back his gambling debts?
I don't know. Again, I can't be specific. I don't know if it wasn't paying back. I don't know what, again, the specifics of it were, but I was led to believe that it had something to do with his gambling problem.
With everything going on and Michael being the face of the NBA at the same time, it was a huge task for Michael to remain in the spotlight, so he took a step back. In October 1993, just a few months after leading the Bulls to a three-peat, Michael announced his retirement from the league. To everyone's shock, the greatest basketball player in the world suddenly decided to play minor league baseball for the Birmingham Barons. And while many think he joined baseball to honor his late father, James Jordan, who was an avid fan of baseball, some suspect that he was just bored with dominating the league and wanted to try something different. During his retirement, the Bulls would attempt to win an NBA championship without him. And although they would fight it out in the 1994 playoffs, making it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, they would, unfortunately, suffer a brutal loss in Game 7 to the Knicks.
In the Eastern Conference Final, the Knicks have defeated the Bulls 87-77.
Despite Scottie trying his best to carry the team, they just couldn't do it without their egotistical clutch machine. There was something about the air when he was on the court that made them feel like they couldn't lose. Without him, it was impossible to get over the line, and they couldn't help but fall short.
35 seconds away from the Knicks dethroning the Chicago Bulls. They're standing and cheering here at the Garden. That's Pippen to three. Down to 20 seconds.
Almost as if he was seeing their plight and couldn't take it any longer, Jordan announced his interest in getting back in the league through a simple fax message: "I'm back." He didn't like the fact that his Bulls had taken a back seat in finals contention, but he was probably subtly happy that they still needed him. So in March 1995,
this is how this man let the world know he's coming back to the league.
Fax message. That's kind of crazy, bro. Because if you do that, I guaranteed you like 3 people are only gonna know. Like now.
I don't even know what fax is.
Bro, me either. I'm gonna be real.
So
Michael Jordan was officially back in the league, and this time he was more fierce and competitive than ever.
Recapture the ball. Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan. And the game is tied at 94. Isolate Jordan on Scott. Michael Jordan.
Despite coming back late into the season, with just a few games left until the playoffs, MJ would manage to average 27 points and guide the Bulls to the second round of the playoffs, even though their team was the weakest it had ever been at that point. This was because they lost a few key pieces in the trade window. By the time the next season came, Jordan was putting down crazy plays night after night.
Dennis gives it to Mike. 10 and a postal play for Michael. Mike says Mike. Oh, they lost it. Stripped by Jordan. Oh, beautiful move by Jordan to hit. A show the ball. Jordan with the pull-up. Yes! And a challenge.
Yes!
His performance was so dominant that it raised suspicions. The Knicks coach at the time, Jeff Van Gundy, straight up accused him of compromising opposing teams, leading to an unfair advantage during the game.
He cons them by inviting them to his movies. He cons them with the commercials. He pretends to enjoy guys and like them and befriend them.
I don't think he gets it. I think for some reason he's so good and has done it for so long that there is this, and such a mystique about him and everybody wants to be like him, be as good as he is, make as much money as he is, be able to do all the off-the-court things that you watch him game in and game out. He saddles up next to guys, he smiles at him, pats him on the ass, and then, goes out there and kicks their ass, and they hug him after the game. Like that was some great thing that he got 45 on them, so I don't understand it.
Whether Jeff Van Gundy was telling the truth or not, it's possible that Jordan's need to always win might have forced him to do something shady. However, hearing about this statement got Michael riled up and ready to prove Jeff Van Gundy wrong.
It's kind of downplayed a little bit, but it's never forgotten. I think, when you hear certain things like that, you put them in your memory bank and you use them whenever you feel you have the need to. And, so I hadn't really forgotten it.
In the next game between the Knicks and the Chicago Bulls, Jordan put on a show, dropping 51 points, which was a new season high back then, and at the same time, taunting Van Gundy on the sideline.
Jordan has 51. And he is screaming at Jeff Van Gundy.
And he's still he was not going to pass that ball. He had every intention of shooting it. Guys in the Bulls are running around.
It's pretty obvious that Michael Jordan would fight anyone who questioned his game. But when it came to taking a stand on what actually mattered, MJ went silent. During the 90s, Nike was accused of exploiting employees in their various factories around the world. They were accused of using children as young as 12, paying below minimum wage, and basically forcing them to work extra mandatory hours. To make matters worse, they were also exposed to toxic fumes, all of which violated both international and local labor laws. And as a partner and face of the brand, fans expected MJ to intervene for the poor workers with his influence, or at least show some support. Surprisingly, MJ couldn't care less, as he believed this wasn't his fight. I heard that Kathy Lee has kind of put me and other people in her fight or whatever, but I think that's Nike's decision to do what they can to make sure everything is correctly done. I don't know the complete situation. Why should I? I'm trying to do my job. Hopefully, Nike will do the right thing, whatever that might be. This situation made it crystal clear that Jordan only cares about his bag and winning, and the money first mentality would follow him.
Honestly, I'm kind of disagree with the video on this one. I feel like Michael Jordan was just trying to do his thing, and however,
I don't think he wanted to get into
yeah, he just didn't want to get involved
drama.
with it. He was just protecting himself. That's all this was here. People thought see it as hate, but that's just what
he should have spoke a little bit highly, but at the same time, that's the most he could have really did.
Yeah.
long after he hung up his jersey, eventually causing catastrophic damage. But in 2010, Michael Jordan became the majority owner of the Charlotte Hornets, which was formerly known as the Charlotte Bobcats. He had stakes as early as 2006, but decided to step it up that year. His goal was to build a powerhouse team in his hometown of Charlotte, and you'd think a guy with 6 rings and the title of the greatest player ever would easily know how to create a winning squad. Well, at least that's what MJ believed, but it didn't take long to prove he was far better at playing basketball than running a franchise. His reputation in basketball would cause him to get overly involved in everything the team was doing, leading to one of the most dysfunctional teams in the league.
You know, I love the guy. I think he's brilliant, but he's around people that don't have a clue. I was sick about it. I hadn't spoken to him since. You know, I don't like seeing what's going on, but he has people around him that just made me sick. I mean, it was not comfortable. It was almost like they were spies.
And it somehow gets even worse, because being a great player doesn't necessarily mean you can recognize good talent. Plus, there was no guarantee that MJ would even treat the younger players with any level of respect, considering his huge ego. On one occasion, he would be caught putting hands on his own player.
He smacked him, bro.
Which received mixed attention from the basketball community. To some, he was right for smacking Malik Monk. I mean, he did foolishly step out onto the court when the game was still in play, which earned him a technical foul, while others believed the smack wouldn't slide if it wasn't MJ.
I don't really have a problem with his skip, but you heard what he said. That's Mike. He's not an owner. No matter what he is, he still Skip a godly figure in NBA circles. Now, granted, no other owner could have ever done that to any player. No other owner in NBA history could have done that to a player. Michael could do that.
Under MJ's ownership, the amount of bad draft picks and questionable trades was something that hindered the Charlotte's franchise at every step. From trading away Gerald Wallace, who led them to the playoffs for the first time, to drafting Bismack Biyombo, who became a massive bust when they had a chance to pick up Klay Thompson or Jimmy Butler. The franchise quickly churned into a laughingstock. Not to say they didn't pick up good players like LaMelo and Michael Bridges, but the fact that the Hornets haven't made the playoffs since 2016 shows that Jordan's leadership was problematic. And just when you think that's pretty horrible, in no way it gets worse. Jordan would take the easy way out in 2023, breaking his promise to his hometown. He would sell off the team for a whopping $3 billion after buying it for $275 million. This did wonders for his net worth, but unfortunately left behind a franchise that never came close to contending for an NBA championship. If you think that selling the team off was bad enough, Jordan would go on to make a controversial decision right before leaving. He would go on to push to draft Brandon Miller over Scoot Henderson in the 2023 NBA draft. At the time, his decision was completely illogical, since Scoot just looked better. This one decision made Charlotte fans completely resent him on the way out. That last
Brandon Miller's way better than a Scoot Henderson though, man.
feud to the Charlotte fans by not drafting Scoot was wild, but surprisingly, this turned out to be one of the rare good decisions by Michael Jordan, as Brandon is now consistently averaging more points than Scoot. However, to be honest, the damage Jordan did to the franchise isn't something that can be erased with one more decent player, as the team is still performing poorly, failing to make the playoffs yet again last season. What went down in Charlotte over the 13 years of his ownership is exactly what you would expect from a guy who only cares about winning for himself at all costs. If it were anyone else, we would hear so much about it.
I would never let one of my players walk out on the floor looking like this. I mean, we are a professional NBA league.
But because he's the symbol for basketball greatness, we never really hear much about the dark side of Michael Jordan.
And Michael Jordan is #1 all time. That's it.
Hey, chat, let us know down below what you guys think. What you think, bro? I was generally shocked, bro. I didn't expect some of these, man.
Yeah, no, it definitely caught my attention. Some of the things that were mentioned throughout this video. I don't know. It kind of makes me see Michael Jordan
in a different way.
In a different way.
I don't know.
I don't know, Chad. Definitely, if y'all can answer my questions down below in the comments.
Let us know down below, man.
I'm definitely curious.
But with that being said, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch y'all next time. Yes, sir.